oldest tea trees in the region. Lightning protection building. This is why you all the time need to wash the first brew of Shu Cha. Now we on Shan mountain, and here we have local Hollywood love sign. The love sign. I was here about 6 years ago, and actually it was on the same place, but no one cared about it. So it's a little bit demolished, as I see from here, and also forest cover up some letters, but still we are going forward to Bada mountain, and today is raining. But who cares? We will look for some tea places today. Maybe even not fresh leaf, of course, because who will harvest in this weather. But tomorrow it will be a sun. So, yeah, anyway. Anyway, we have wonderful plans today to visit Bada mountain. This is Dai Menghai tea factory plantation on Shan. Actually, I was here also a few years ago. They have beautiful sign, Menghai Chaye Bada Zidi. Actually, it's Dai Cha. Still not any old trees here, but it's massive and huge. Slowly rain goes out. A little bit off-road today because, yeah, the Bada mountain, the same as Jin Mai, the same as actually Bindao was before. They have stone road, not the cement, concrete road, but this type of road, manually made by natural stone. Looks beautiful, but driving for a long time on such a road is a bit challenging. They naturally fertilize the soil. Some corn leftovers and some other organic stuff. Beautiful view. But still I prefer trees a bit more. But if you look here, you can see, but actually this is a quite old bush, almost a tree, but trimmed. Still it affects the flavor. As soon as it's not a tree, it's still not a tree anyway. Road to Bada is not easy, actually. Second time we were on Bada, and second time we broke the wheel. Now, luckily, we have the parts to change it, so we need to change the wheel. The road to Bada is actually not perfect enough. And last time we was on Bada, we also need to change the wheel. Yeah. 对。
上次你那个朋友。
啊，对。
你那个朋友。
对。
他的皮卡车。
啊，对，他的啊，对。So we luckily have a small tea factory just nearby the place where we break our tire, drink some tea, some red tea. Tea is quite average, but good. Honey, we have honey from Bada mountain. Yeah, maybe I will take one can just for to keep it as a souvenir. we're going to visit one of the oldest tea trees in the region. Maybe I can say recognized by the oldest tea tree. And we're in the jungles, and the same guy who guided us last time, it was almost 6 or 7 years ago, now also him. Wild fruit, looks like a wild avocado something. This is a wild tea bush, tea tree, small one. Actually, it comes naturally from plantations nearby. Some seeds came to the forest and it's just grow like that. And here's a beehive. Actually, a wild honey comes from here. Be careful. One of the oldest trees here, relocated on elevation 1,800 meters, and this tree is 400 years old. Such a natural wonder here. Yeah, tree, but center of the tree just rotten, but they still exist. All the left subwood of the tree, and it looks like a skeleton. Wow. Tell you one interesting story. We're on the way to our ancient tea tree, and here on the way is a huge tree, which actually called Hei Mao Shu, black hair tree. And this black hair tree, actually not only this one but many others, was used by local minorities as a burial. So they actually create out of this big tree. For one single tree, if one person died, we need to cut it, the whole tree, take the best piece of it, and to create a coffin out of this tree, out of huge tree. It's a very big wasting, of course, especially in current times. And the worst sad part that it's still now, it was actually recently even still exist, this kind of tradition. I think it's absolutely, we don't need to keep such kind of traditions. Also a good example of not all the traditional things are good, especially in current times. Even with all the respect to local minority culture, I think it's not a good culture to keep anyway. And the government implemented a kind of straight regulations on that, so of course it's prohibited. And also for all minorities, doesn't matter, or the big or Hanzu or some small minorities, you need to burn the body after the individual died. You don't need to make any kind of coffin or burial, so you need to burn it. And I think it's the best, actually, best option to keep the trees and to save them from these kind of traditions, which are of course out of date for sure. This plant called pana. Pana, it's on Hani minority language, it's called pana. And this plant actually used for coloring the cloths, because traditional Hani minority cloths, maybe you've seen, it's black, dark, almost black, with a little bit purplish sometimes, or even blue-black something. And used this plant. First they create kind of a soup out of this plant, and after they color the originally cotton or linen or other material, white color material, to create this black or black-blue color for local cloths. Here's a monument for the oldest tea tree on Bada mountain. Here still exists one more, hopefully we will look for it, but this one was older. Sadly, the middle part of the tree was rotten, and it's died in 2012. 27th of September. Yeah, and actually in 2013 they put this stela in the members of this tree. And actually it's made from marble, which is quite expensive stone, and also you need to carry it to here. It's actually to show how locals appreciate ancient tea trees. I hope we will appreciate more all the rest which still live here. Yeah, so it's kind of a monument inside the jungles. And here's one more ancient tree. It's 600 years old, quite tall. On this place where I stay now, it was a small house of local grandma, also hiding minority, but now she's not living anymore here. But also leftovers, some of the house stands still here. And actually, because it's a protected area, it's kind of a national park area, and now it's not allowed to live inside the park. And even the local citizens who before lived here to pick up the tea and so on, we need to just get inside, pick up the tree and get back, but not stay here, and also it's protected. Here is the oldest tea tree in this area. It's around, it's not written, but it's around 1,500, maybe a little bit older. Very tall, no one harvests the tea from it. And actually this place is not so touristy, which I really like. Not so many people know how to get here, and also locals don't like to share this information. And it's good because it's keep the area really in this condition. Very wild. So we are going to pick up fresh tea leaf from old tea trees on Bada mountain, almost in Myanmar, actually very close to the border. It's a village, our friend, and it was here in 2018 last time. We'll have a new experience. Start harvesting, and here we have, actually they call it dashu, like a big tree, but really actually not so big tree, but it's not ancient tree. They don't call it gushu. Especially if you look at the trunks on the bottom, they are really big, and also the garden is quite big. Now you can see the garden here. Now the leaves from the tea trees, and today we will maybe not stay for roasting because it will take quite long for either this tea. Even these trees, they are small but still very different from one to another. Here, for example, very small buds, not yet ready. Here also.
also really small and even not started to grow. But for example here, they already have something.
We're back to Menghai. Now we repair our tire from the bigger car. This car don't need any kind of repair. It's strong. It's actually a Chinese car, tank. Really like a tank because we drive pretty fast when we, yeah, really strong. Good morning from our small facility for tea processing, and here we now finalizing the sun drying of Shan Pu-erh from Mangan Jin, not so far from Bulang Shan, a mountain. We are in Menghai now. And two interesting topics about the final step, because it looks very simple. Okay, we just roll the tea and we put it on the bamboo and just and let it sun dry, and that's it. No, not so easy, because for example, if it's too strong sun, you not also need to find a time when to move it out of the sun, do not keep it for so long. Also, if it's not enough sun, for example, wet weather like it was yesterday, you need to put it inside in a building, but you need to catch at least a bit of sun to let it dry a little bit, because if it's not dry, it can also kind of mold even during second day, and also it will affect the flavor. So in this case, for example, if it's bad weather, they use a machine like a drying shelf to dry it inside the machine. And after this, Shan mostly not so good in aroma, so they use it for Shu most of the time. But if it's good weather and if it's good material, of course, it's better to just sun dry it, and after, it will be good Shan. Also, interesting fact about when the aroma actually goes out. So after the sun drying, if you just drink on the second day and the third day, we just drank yesterday with tea, but as with some other roasting processing with oolong tea or some other tea, if you drink immediately after processing, all the flavor and aroma aftertaste still not get fully ready. So for Shan, mostly it's around 1-2 weeks. You see all the palette of tastes after the tea kind of stay a little bit after the final drying. We arrived to a village which is called Jalan. Jalan village is also located on Bada mountain, and here is living minority Bulang, also Bulang minority, and this is village famous for its oldest village on Badashan, and before it was maybe similar like on Bulang Shan mountain. It also was a kind of a center of all the mountain villages, and they have rich history. We will look for local tea culture, and now we're waiting for road construction works. Actually, it's quite often you can see here, because it's quite often. Here in Jalan village, I for the first time see such a special building. It's actually a lightning protection building, because here in the high mountains they have a lot of raining, and also humidity is very high. So often they have cases like lightning actually kill people during or make a fires in the houses. So if you during this special thunder time, you just outside and you can hide in this special shelter, and all the lightning rod on the roof, there's a lightning rod to protect against the lightning, because in China it's really anquan, like the security is on the first priority, we can say. Quite special. First time I see such a special shelter in a village. In Bulang minority, we have a very interesting tradition. We have special kind of pavilions which we install on the entrance to the monasteries or to the entrance to the villages. And these pavilions have a special tool, how they use this, the special case. Inside these pavilions regularly meet all the visitors from outside, all the outcomers, who is like came to the village and we don't know who this person are and that why they came here and so on. So all the foreigners kind of, they go to this place to first chill a little bit, and they also want to interact with them, to look what they came from, what they want from this village or from local citizens, and only after that they allow them to go inside. Now, of course, it's not used for that case, it's just a rest place. People sometimes drink tea here or take some food or just rest during very strong sunny days, very hot days. But still they have a tradition and they still have these pavilions installed in Bulang villages. Same as other Buddhist and not only Buddhist temples in China during the Cultural Revolution, it was destroyed. And actually the current monastery in Yunnan village, where we're now located, the motherland village of old Bada mountain, inhabited by Bulang minority. Local monastery also was destroyed and it was rebuilt again. So all the old, its monastery have 1,000 years old history, and the same as a village have 1,400 years history, so it's really old. And but still now they have some details like these carvings, especially this one, which are very old, and it was hidden by local citizens during Cultural Revolution. We just hide it at houses, at home somewhere, and later when they start rebuilding the monastery, they put it here. So there are some details which are new, some details which are very old, like that paintings, golden paintings on wood. Mostly it's still modern, it's built in the 80s, and some old objects not even here anymore. They have some special bells, which is typical for Bulangs. Also, they have special paintings on the walls, which are mostly kind of primitive paintings made by local artists. They are not so, how to say, perfect enough. Maybe some proportions are wrong and so on. But they are unique. In each temple, they are unique. Sometimes it's about Bulang people history. Sometimes it's about some Buddhist history. But still, so it's very specific appearance of the monastery and also local traditions. Absolutely unique object here. It's a kind of special small house, small building, and inside they keep all the local historical memories, historical signs and books. The same as in Chinese tradition, also Bulang people have their own tradition on keeping all the history, all the papers about some events, about some special cases which was happened here and also on the mountain, nearby villages and so on. So it's all the history here inside. And it was also hidden during the Cultural Revolution. They also protected, keep it at home, and later put it here, so it's still saved. Menghai County before the Pu-erh tea became more popular and more promoted. It was mostly area for growing sugar cane. Actually, they still do, even now, but much less than before. So now it's tea number one, and the sugar cane goes after that. But still, you can see a lot of these plantations. Here we can see how the sugarcane fields changed to the tea fields, actually. The local Bulang minority people, people, they just harvest the tea. They just ask what the tea they produce. They produce Shan Cha. And actually now they harvest very first flash. Very sweet. Typical small tidy cha, how we called plantation tea. Later we'll try a little bit of local tea. It's not very high level one because on Bada mountain there are not so much old trees. They mostly have the bushes or plantations like this. To the location which is called Sha, still belongs to the Yunnan village, and this is also some local tea destination, some river. We are now will drink some tea. There is very beautiful, very beautiful trees. Such a scenic nature spot. This house is actually called Xiao Hongfang. Xiao Hongfang, it means Hong, it means when people just get married, they live in such a small, tiny house for a while. Have some private space, actually. Now, of course, it's already not used for these purposes. It's just for storage, kind of storage. And this kind of storage, it's to store Pu-erh tea or some other. And also a very interesting fact. Here, these stands, they have a square shape. So it's not the round one. Why? Because the snake can climb into the house. And also this is why they cover it by the metal a little bit. Because also for snake is difficult to climb by a metal, so to go inside the house. we have a pile of huanpian, actually yellow leaf from Chinese. This is already fermented tea, already processed Shu Pu-erh, which we need to select tea stems out of it. Some other small, maybe some trash, which sometimes appears, but mostly it's the stems. How this huanpian appears? Actually, during the processing, roasting of Shan Pu-erh, some leaves, especially big leaf, when you're harvesting, it's maybe fourth leaf or third leaf, the big leaf, not rolled properly, so have pretty light weight, and it affects the flavor of Shan Pu-erh. So actually, mostly we just don't use this leaf for good quality Shan. But it can be good for Shu Pu-erh. So we just collect this huanpian to make a fermentation out of it, and after we can also have a kind of Shu Pu-erh, which is also affordable, and also same way quite tasty. Huanpian is very lightweight, and it also contains some pretty good rolled tea also, but mostly it's still the leaf which is not fully properly rolled during Shan Pu-erh processing. Now we are in the factory for fermentation of Shu Pu-erh. This is traditional method. So we have concrete floor, and they have a pile of actually Shu Cha, a tea from ancient trees, small amount. It's a small pile, it's maybe 200 kg only. And now we're making a process of, how to say, breaking the pile, opening the pile to mix it again, because upper layer not fully fermented. And also this is actually chateau tea heads, which is, so then we break it from this machine. And after that we create pile again. And after that we just make it, how to say, for more 1 week fermentation, one more time. And now we need to fully mix it to make more standard quality of all the places inside the pile. It must be standard. Actually, this is a chateau, which is not break. Also goes for machine, but it's so strong press, so it's not breaking. And it is naturally creates inside the pile, and mostly, as I told, is buds of the tea, which stick one to another because they are more sticky. So this is a better quality, more tasty often than the regular loose leaf. So after he finish all the process, he'll create a new pile and cover it again with this fabric. It's also the bigger pile of different material, different batch, and we will have after that final drying, which will create these shaped small piles to make it naturally dry. And after that you have finally product of Shu Pu-erh. And the process, this is why you need also to make many steps on cleaning, like selecting all the small steps. This is why you all the time need to wash the first brew of Shu Pu-erh, because this is how it's processed originally. And not so many people like to show it actually, because I think it's not so sanitary and so on, but actually it's okay as soon as you wash it. And this is a standard process. And now we will try again the chateau from the pile, just straight, semi-product, not fully prepared yet. So we will open it and drink. We now in the bottom of the Shan mountain. We go in Menghai, still Menghai area, and we now just changed car from our small minibus to the jeep, and we go to the mountains, to actually the second highest mountain of Menghai County, 2,000 meters elevation above sea level, and we will pick Gushu tea today, tea from ancient tea trees. So let's go. This place called Padrin Lao Drai. Actually, Lao Drai it's kind of origination place of Hani minority who live here, Hani people. And before they live in this area, and now they moved to different villages. They create kind of reconstruction, some recreation zone. There are most some primal tools. Yeah, this is a windmill, not windmill, but water mill. And there is some tools for making food, so actually for compressing corn or some wheat to make powder, make actually flour. Ancient technology, we can say. Now it's only for as a tourist attraction because they just use it for recreation purpose. Now we are in ancient tree garden. Here in Lake Shan, here's a pretty similar, not a problem, but just a thing, how it was before. In 80s, they was cut down some trees. Yeah, and you see, each tree have younger branches, younger trunks, but the main trunk is much more thicker. So it means that the tea trees mostly are 3, 4, 500 years old, even older. But in 80s, some of trees was cut. So later, with younger trunks, they are much thinner. So this is a tree around 200-300 years old, and we can see how it's also shaped, especially. So the branches are shaped this way, so have few trunks, and they also trim it on the top to have harvest in the right time, and also to have enough amount of buds. Because as soon as you not trim it at all, just let it grow, you can't clean the tree, and also it will give much less material. So you need to have also a balance. Don't create a bush out of a tree, because if you cut it too low, it will be not a tree, it will be bush, just old bush. But if you cut it a little bit higher and also try to shape branches the right way, you can create bigger trees with much more material. And they ask farmers how do they do it, and they say like now they also try to reshape some younger trees, and also this is kind of the best possible variety. Yes, you can clean it, and also you have enough material, and also it's a tree, it's not a bush anymore. And if you go to Bulang mountain, for example, there are much older trees, also as we see in Thailand and Vietnam, also much older, and also they all have this shape like a snake. So trunks are horizontal, and you can climb them, and you can also climb higher. But from the top, they all the time need to trim it, but don't let it grow too high. In this case, you will have enough pots, enough fresh leaf. Sometime before, they also had some kind of a plantation of just a pine tree, which we use for wood material. And they cut it down now, and they have a solution. Or they plant again the trees, the pines, or they plant the tea. And of course the solution was to plant the tea. Actually here it is. Yep. Oh, here's a small tea plant. And yeah, they plan to make it also organic tea garden. Yeah, because it's here now it's much more appreciated, and also because here the tea trees grows so good. The soil is really great enough. So yeah, so they cut the pine tree for harvesting wood, and after plant tea. And here we can see a very good example of the trimmed trunks, like it was like this, but after it grows smaller branches, and still it's recognized as a Shu Cha because the root system is still very huge, massive, and yeah, and also the trunks grow pretty high, and some of the trunks also you can see like much more higher, much more thicker, like was cut it to the bottom, but sometimes a little bit more up, and so on. But still, it's very important to keep grow a tree at least 2-3 meters, because if you trim it more lower level, it will affect the flavor, so it will be not so tasty. So this is why they all the time let it grow at least 2-3 meters high. I climbed the tree to pick the tea from ancient tree, and yeah, actually there is a tool. If I have not enough height, I can make it like that and pick up the flash from the top. Yeah. So we will have a great tea today. Continue harvesting ancient trees. Luckily we have a few, but here not so much material because it's a little bit earlier than needed. So regularly they harvest a bit later here, but what I can say, we really will have best possible material because of that, because actually it's called touchun, spring hats, kind of touchun. Head of a spring. So here we finished the harvesting from one single tree. It's only maybe 2 kg, maybe a little bit more, 3 kg of fresh leaf. After withering it will be only 2, so we will a little bit not enough for roasting, but we will roast just a small batch. So we'll try. And here I want to show you how to pick the proper flash. So actually we need to pick it this way. It must be 2 leaf, 1 bud actually, or 3 leaf, 1 bud. Here actually it was 1 bud just recently. It's open up, so it's 3 leaves. Main fact, it must be fresh, young leaf, not the old one. And here I can show how to improper type of harvesting. If you break a little bit lower and take the smaller leaf, which is almost connected to the trunk, to the stem, and so we must avoid this type of harvesting, because later for next harvest the new flesh will not grow. So it must be like this. This is a kind of perfect flash. After that we can really say that the new harvest, it will grow again. Problems in a village. The guys just loaded a lot of sugar corn. Yeah. Chapodola. Epic вообще.
叫他们说啊，这句里面，他会听到。叫他说。
我们一起喊6声水哈。
水水水水水水啊，这样来开始。来，
两位，
来，他们喊都高，然后我们喊。
Стоп, куда-то много не
Стой.
Горячее.
Дальше. Да? 谢谢。
So we start the roasting of tea. Actually, we only make one wok today because the second one we don't need. We don't have enough material. Learning all the time to do great tea. This is important, I think. During roasting, actually, it's very important to roast properly and to take care about the temperature, take care about how you turn it out, how you roast it, how you do not over roast it, also to not create yellow leaf on piang. Also, yeah, many details are important. So the technology is correct. If you do something wrong, of course, guys also learning, but it's very exciting, especially with aroma. And here is a fire control, just a bit. After each roasting, we need to clean the wok because it contains some dust. So we start roasting. It's very important to be aware about what you're doing and really learn from the masters how to properly roast. There are many details, especially before I had some experience in Jinsu village in Francine, some other places, and Shan in Thailand, whatever. And many times I've seen how some roasters make it like that, put it up. You need to do that, but not so often, because in this case you create a lot of yellow leaf, which is not good enough, actually not good at all, we can say. And also you need to look at the temperature. Now it's a bit hot, so you need to beat a bit faster. If it's a bit cooler, you can be slower. When we have a small batches option, we just roll it manually by hand because it's not needed. It's too small amount to roll it on machine. Absolutely fantastic dinner, and yeah, here we have also typical Jin Mai dish, fried tea leaves with eggs. slowly, say, Pashan, going up to the mountain Jin Mai. Actually, it's one of the most famous tea mountains in Yunnan, in Lanshan region. It's more than 1,100 hectares of old tea forest here, most inhabited by two minorities, local minorities. It's Dai and Bulang people and Dai people. And we will visit few villages. We'll look for ancient tea forest. Today we have a kind of a recreational travel. We not pick the tea. We just look local destinations, local attractive places, because for now leaf not ready yet. So we will look for beautiful ancient tea forests of Jin Mai. This is an old tea forest on Jin Mai mountain. Actually, it's also tourist attraction, very big one, maybe comparable to Shan, big recreation area. And here's really massive, called Dai old tea forest. Trees around 100 years old, not so old actually, but some of they are very also ancient trees, and 1.2 million trees in total. It's the very first time I'm here. Wow, very funny, because now I write here for some friends, but regularly I never visit this place as a tourist purpose, mostly for tea. So it's fun. I'm first time in this touristy area of Jin Mai mountain. And here we are standing near the Shu on Jin Mai mountain. Shu, it's oldest tea tree on Mountain Jin Mai. It's around 1,000 years old. As on any tea mountain in Yunnan, they have this kind of attraction. So it's like oldest tea tree of all the mountain. I think maybe we have more similar, but actually it's around 1,000 years old. And there we have also altar of Bulang people, which is also quite interesting. And not yet buds came, I see, because it's dry season, and maybe around April, since middle of April, it will be a beautiful place. A little bit less people because you need to go straight through the forest, a little bit longer, but not so long actually, about 1.5 kilometer, and you'll be more cozy environment. We arrived to the village which called Nogan Laojai, Nogan Old Village. And this Nogan Old Village is inhabited by Dai minority, Dai people. And as any village on Jin Mai mountain, there are quite strict regulations even on the new buildings. For example, this is old building and this is a new building. And any kind of building must be made in local style. So you can't build any modern design. If you really want to see traditional Yunnan minorities village, also a rural kind of environment, even the new buildings still have some vibe. Yeah, so and it's quite accessible. So Jin Mai, it's a very good destination to have a look how actually Yunnan tea village looks like. The best aperitif to the tea, it's a local type of passion fruit, this green one. It's a new type actually, it's sweet, and it's appeared only around 2 years ago. New cultivar, and was quite expensive. The first place was around 100 yuan for 1 kg. Now last year it was 50, and now it's 30 or 20 even, if you find for amount. And we try Dashu local tea with this wonderful passion fruit. I think it's the best possible combination of tea pairing. This temple was rebuilt in 2009, but it's have a 1,000 years old history, as local people say. And also the tree, the sacred tree here, is 2,500 years old. We will have a look. Old temple here in the monastery. It was rebuilt in 2009, but still looks very special. There's some more older objects brought, but the monastery on Mount Bada looks more old. Surprisingly, see here is the candles, which is a little bit looks like Orthodox. Inside the temple there is a big also place, especially storage of instruments, which we use during some holidays, and also some instruments are quite unusual. This is a little bit looks like African drum, but it's not. It's a local type of a drum. And interesting that the stand actually made out of a wheel, out of a tire of a motorcycle. Beautiful monastery, and also from the top of the monastery you can browse all the village. Very scenic view. We have a little bit higher view point, but still all the villages, traditional houses. And we in the right season, not so much people. And here is the oldest tea tree, not tea tree actually, joking. But it's one of the oldest trees in Yunnan. It's almost 3,000 years old. Such a massive tree. 11 meters. Now we are in Jin Mai village central monastery, actually Buddhist monastery of Bulang people. What is most interesting here, we have kind of old wood carving on this monastery, and I think it's at least a few decades of years, maybe even 100 years old, I don't know. But actually it's quite old. And it's all wooden carvings which are significantly different from most of the Buddhist carvings or even other Taoist or Buddhist temples in China, because they really look similar in Chinese kind of style with these net-like wood carvings, and also regular in Chinese paintings, we see some guanyin or dragons or phoenix or some other traditional Chinese symbols. But here we see really primal, rural dogs or you know, like turtles, rabbits, chicken. Okay, some even crab or fish or whatever. So it's really quite different. It looks like similar to the real paintings which we have now. Even inside we can look, I hope. We've seen similar also kind of primitive paintings. Yeah, we can also inside, but if you want to enter, you need to move the shoes, yeah, and go inside. Yeah, and here it's actually the monastery. Also, what I like the most is the columns, which are also hand painted by gold. Also kind of primitive paintings. And here we see a little bit similarity to some other Bulang monasteries, which we've seen before. Very beautiful. I think that all lovers of durian who really like it, we need to try it. It's ice cream, in like a kind of a mochi, like Japanese ice cream, but it's made with really durian tastes, and even the shape of ice cream is like 3 pieces of durian. Absolutely wonderful. So here is our tea. This is tea which we harvested yesterday from ancient tea tree. Only maybe 200 grams something, maybe even less. Not so much. And there is our Banda tea from the trees, but the younger ones. So we're now trying our Shu Cha, actually from ancient trees. All the batches there, only 500 grams, maybe even less, who knows. A few hours of work, also roasting. 7 people climbed the trees. Yeah, 我是师傅炒的。所以对，and we now will try it at the first infusion, because it's organic wild Shan, so and also from ancient trees, so we can drink even first infusion. Doesn't matter what it tastes, it's the best tea on the planet. We're now in the monastery which is called Menghai Dadintang. Actually, we are in Menghai Jin. It's on the way from Lansang to Menghai, where we're returning today. And here's absolutely incredible Dai people temple. It's a new temple. Now it's still under construction. I like the decorations. It's really like a little bit similar to Thai. Yeah. Around the temple there is a pavilion. Also like this big water tank decorated with some animals. Yeah, And around the temple there is a huge, massive mansarda with also pretty interesting paintings. Yeah, it's all around local life, is understood. Typical for Dai people, women, hair look, hairstyle. Actually, this is very massive pavilion all around the temple with more than 200 small, actually not so small, it's around more than 2 meters high paintings. This is number 41, and we go back into the history. I think it's a history of Dai people, something like, yeah, because there are some, I completely can't read even one word of Thai language. Looks like the same artist also painted some Totoro cartoon just in the entrance to the temple. I like it very much. Now we're tasting Tigwani in Fujian province. I just arrived from Yunnan. I have few samples. Rare time when I trust my old friend to brew it by himself. Regularly I do myself. But here we have beautiful Tigwani tea. We have few varieties like Huaxiang, also Tuaswan, also tea from winter, autumn, spring, and now it's not the season yet, but we're trying also developing our taste during storage. So check in and talk about next batch because this spring we need to prepare a bit. Here is a fully handmade local sweet from nuts and seeds and some caramel. They break it by hand, and also fully manual, traditional, cooked just here. And even here we have beautiful packaging like this. Yeah, with a local Tulou sign. Oh. This is how a regular touristic Tulou looks like. Many people. Also good experience because it's quite experienced, but quite prepared. Oh, yeah, but of course much more touristy, but much more special attractions. So we go 2楼啊，好，都是老房子哦。哇。
这个2楼一般是婚房。3楼是灵房。
哇。
这边
哇。这个大概什么时候的？哇！
这个就当时这个蒋家后人悉尼的女子。
哇，这个我拍一下。 And here we're now on the third floor of the Tulou building, and the local administrator, he showed us a very specific place for brewing the tea, so making the tea. So they have a special small kind of stove, which decorators use a small fire here and put small pot here. And because here we have a beautiful view on all Tulou building, so recreational purpose, but it's very beautiful how it's made just inside the wall, and you can cook the tea here. Specific signs here, because local authorities who before traveled a lot and make business abroad, so some signs also even in English, but they converted, I can't read it, but it's kind of yeah, it's like a name of a company which work abroad. And also here we see also different other, just Jure, Pasi, I can understand what is it, also some sign of family. And here I think maybe one of the most interesting signs. This is hand painted more than 100 years ago, and here we have even one Malaysian lady, which are also so the local, actually local businessman. He traveled to Malaysia, make business, and he, as I understood correctly, he brought his wife from Malaysia, so he painted her here, and also some sign, some influence from other countries, because actually the southern Fujian travelers were, and businessmen and Hakka minority, they have a lot of foreign relations historically. This is actually why we have a tea name. It comes from Minnan dialect te, not from the Mandarin cha. So this is why in the Western countries they have a lot of businesses there. And here is some historical signs of it. 这个最后漏啊，这个是不是还是也是一样的用？ Now we walk around the Tulou. Actually, most of the wood is old wood. A little bit, I see, repaired, of course, and especially interesting how they protect the building from inside. Any bandits or those who want to attack them, so they need to also work together. So this is how it's called home, and so it's special doors which came the back side of the living space, and they have this almost 300 meters circle across the building. This is the 4th floor, and here they have all these windows to protect. And also these halls, here it's closed, but during the construction of the house, oh yeah, we can see here, there's the eggs of some birds. Yeah, actually they use it as a nest. So here you can see that inside is a really kind of earth, compressed earth, and semi-fermented grass. So it's mixed together, and this is how we can build the actually Tulou. And this is a building itself, also the similar technology. This is also the stairs, the floor. All is from the wood. This is one of the rooms upstairs on the 4th floor. From here you can exit to the circle path across the building. And here also we can see some newspapers. This is from 1932, so it's more than almost 100 years old newspaper from America, actually. And here's two very old newspapers, mostly American. They bring it here as a kind of a decoration, because that time these businessmen who work and travel abroad, or who make a business abroad, they bring it here just, I don't know which purpose, but they stick it to the wood. So actually this wood is more than 100 years old. And also this imitate rolls, actually, small rope, which are regularly used in rolls to stick them to put them on a wall, hand painted on a wall. I really like this cat. We also need to try some red tea today. Now I arrived to the factory of black tea production, Shu Cha, red tea in Chinese. This is Tin Guanyin cultivar, golden guanyin, golden bodhisattva. It's actually already some years in production, this type of tea, but still, if we talk about the historical tradition of tea guanyin and other cultivars, it's still recognized as a new cultivar, but it's already a few decades. So Jin guanyin very good for production, not only oolong tea, but also black tea, red tea. So this factory, they now do first withering after the harvesting. They just put the tea to wither outside, and later all the other rolling and fermenting, all the other processing go. Yeah, actually this factory, when I was here for the first time, we just make it very, very small, and now they grow maybe 10 times during last years. Now in the tea factory, all the processes are under active stage. And we can see here is the last step. Actually, this is the drying of the matcha. So it's the tea just after fermentation, after final fermentation, is drying. But after the withering, we have, if we go step by step, we have this yaoqing. So it's a machine for shaking the leaves. And few steps they make shake and put them back to this bamboo trays to wither a little bit. And after they make these steps for a few times, and in between, before they put tea for fermentation and before rolling, we go downstairs. After the shaking, they just put the tea here for fermentation. So it's kind of withering slash slow fermentation, and it goes for several hours also, sometimes quite long. Depending on the weather and condition of the leaf, I also sometimes put ventilation. And usually after this step, we make actually up to 17 steps. And here also we have some fermentation, but this comes after the rolling. And this is Jin Mai. This is one of the top Jin Mai actually. Here they add some water to don't let the humidity go down. They also add some little bit of water because it's quite dry now. They add some water for ferment the red tea. So when it's ready, they use this elevator connect. Yep. Yeah, and they go upstairs. So after the fermentation and after the withering, they have rolling on these machines. Quite a regular procedure. They have much more rollers for the season, because when the season started, they used all the rollers, up to 10 rollers, but now it's only 2 big ones because amount still not come. And yeah, and after the rolling, they put tea for final fermentation over here. Like the same we see downstairs. Here's not only buds, but also leaves. A little bit more cheaper red tea, but still very good. Wow, very sweet. It's called honolong, like oolong made red tea. Here the active stage of shaking yaoqing. The aroma here in the factory is completely impressive. It's incredible. Any factory which is bigger than the small farm facility, you need to have more tools to make all the inner logistics useful. It's actually not easy, but manageable. And you need to do everything fast. Finally, it's a time to try tea, and we will try Jin Mai, only buds tea, and also oolong, red oolong tea, which we just seen all the process of production. This is batch which already prepared for us, but I need to try it before we send it for a warehouse, so yeah, I need to try it first. Actually, already first time do it this year. The very first batch already sent, but we want to make it a little bit better. To check again for bigger amount. So now we tried already both red tea, one from the buds only, one with a leaf, and I think it's okay, both are good enough. And also we go forward for aged tea tasting. We have two types of aged Tulou to try. Few words about harvesting. Actually, for red tea, when it's machine picked, it's picked like this. Also, sometimes it's hand picked, depending on the season or the bush. Here is mostly machine picked, like these bushes. The same for oolong, but and also it refers to the price. But if you want to harvest Jin Mai only buds, like this, yes, you need to harvest only one bud, single. And it's only possible by hand. So there is a lady just now picking. It's one by one. Very hard work actually, even in the bush. Of course, with the trees in Yunnan, it's much more difficult. This is a plantation tea. If you want to select like what to drink, I all the time recommend tea from the trees. It's a little bit more expensive, sometimes not even a little bit, but of course it's more sustainable. But price-wise, we need to also work with plantation tea.
Changed me.
Plantations in Anxi County looks quite similar. Here's a quite beautiful mountains all around, and also there is a big also forest, protected forest area. You can see here many tea plantations, and there is nothing, just a wild forest. And also here's a very beautiful scenic waterfall. Small Taoist monastery in Menghai, visiting our friends, and they guided us through one of the old monasteries. Taoist monasteries here that have a lot of stone carving outside, and also from inside it's very beautiful starting this. And this is also kind of government protected, so it's old monastery. The modern type of charity for the temple, and you can pay by WeChat. Here's the 18 arhats, 9 from each side. Here's 9, and there is also. like a kind of primitive village style. You can see here the design.
这个是清朝的，
清朝的，哇！
所以这历史很
This is Qing Dynasty.
古董。
Qing Dynasty wooden. Yeah. Today I want to spend a day in Nanjing County of Fujian Province. So often Fujian actually in the border with Jiangxi and also border with Guangdong provinces. Tomorrow is the 1st of April and the race just started now or maybe come a little bit later. Today we have a day for research new potential suppliers, and here in the south of Fujian we just travel to some remote destinations to search for new varieties. Actually a lot of factories here produce quite interesting tea, and now we're trying a tea which also close to Yancha, to Rokulung from Wishan, but actually it's not, so it's a bit different, and we are now trying. Very sweet and very little bit roasted, a little bit baked, and even smoked for personal impression. It's interesting. We will know more soon. 你好，可以关掉。And now I'm here in the also Tulou building, earthen building, but almost fully destroyed. We can see here, and here is even a sign, Mount Jin Mai. It's from at least 60s or maybe 50s. It's honoring Mao Zedong. Yeah, and the fact is that still the signs, the numbers of the buildings, of the houses still exist, but actually no one lives here anymore. And local inhabitants, they build the new, oh, this is beautiful. They build the new houses, and the old houses are kind of, yeah, in a condition like this. This was a quite beautiful building. So my last minutes in China, maybe 40 minutes left till my flight to Amsterdam. It was a great trip for sure, and we found a lot of new tea. We produced a lot of new tea, a lot of Pu-erh, traveled across a few provinces, Yunnan, Guangdong, Fujian of course. Now I'm at Fujian in Shan. Yeah, and I drink some tea. What I actually like in China, you can get hot water for free all the time, everywhere. In airports for sure, you can get it for free. You don't need to pay for it. This I really like. Took my thermos and drink some tea now. So finally, this is my tea drinking location. You can have a look. I like it a lot.